Ninth grade, midterm unit assessment. This is the third reading, Run for the Roses. They're off. Hoofs and hearts pounding. The most exciting 2 minutes in sports has started once more. While it's possible to argue whether it is the most exciting or whether it is even a sport, the Kentucky Derby is one of the most exciting annual events of sports calendar. It attracts horses, fans, and media from around the world. Why the Kentucky Derby? The first racetrack was constructed on Long Island in 1665, and by the mid-1800s, New York was the home of major American horse racing. Saratoga opened in 1863, and other established racetracks hosted a full calendar of races, including featured stakes races, contests with large prizes collected in part from the owners of the horses competing. The prizes or purses attracted the best horses in the country, and recently from around the world. At the time, there were no notable race courses in Kentucky, but the state was producing a large number of winning horses. The perfect location. Horse breeders realized that central Kentucky possessed the perfect combination of ecological elements for the development of horses with speed and endurance. A porous, it means being able to be passed through, limestone layer underlies broad pastures, allowing them to drain. These fields, blanketed with a turf of Kentucky bluegrass, provide firm footing and nutritious food for young colts. After the first tentative or careful steps, the young horses build strength and stamina galloping or running around the region's rolling meadows. Because of these natural blessings, the region, centered in Lexington, has become home to stunningly beautiful horse farms that produce a disproportionate or larger number of stakes winners. In the mid-1800s, Kentucky's racehorse industry was still a secret to horse racing officials and fans. To focus attention on the region, local breeders turned to Colonel Meriwether Lewis Clark, grandson of William Clark and namesake of Clark's famous companion, Meriwether Lewis. Clark knew little about the horse racing, so to collect information, he visited the leading racetracks in France and England. Witnessing the grandeur and success of the Derby Stakes in Epsom, England, gave him the blueprint for a plan. Establishing a big event. In 1872, he met with Louisville's city leaders, government officials, and leading businessmen. Although the city of 100,000 people was in an economic slump, Clark convinced the group that its location on the Ohio River, close to urban areas and horse country, made it perfect for a big event. The big event, the top annual horse race in the country at the finest venue. Forming the Louisville Jockey Club, he raised $32,000 and leased or rented 80 acres south of town from his uncles, the Churchills, and began building a racetrack. Collecting information from experts and relying on instinct, Clark built a near-perfect 1-mile oval course. Unlike existing tracks, it was wide and included long, straight stretches where horse and rider could accelerate, go faster, and move around. The track opened in 1875 with 4 races, a small grandstand, and big dreams. Clark's event was a huge success, as 10,000 excited spectators or visitors watched Airstrides win the first Kentucky Derby. Known originally as the Louisville Jockey Club, the track began to be referred to as Churchill Downs, after Clark's uncles who leased the site in 1886. Under his guidance, the signature race, the Kentucky Derby, attracted the best horses, owners, trainers, and riders. New ownership and the growth of a spectator sport. In 1894, a group headed by William Shute purchased the track, built a larger grandstand, and topped by the landmark twin spires on the rooftop, and replaced Clark. From that point, the Derby's reputation and allure, or excitement about it, grew steadily. The event experienced ups and downs in the early decades, but eventually became the event in horse racing, and one of the biggest in sports. In 1925, radio began to broadcast the contest coast to coast, and in the 1930s, around the world. Television began to carry the spectacle or event to millions of viewers in 1952. Today, more than 100,000 spectators, or people who watch it, attend the event in person, and more than 100 million view it worldwide. The Derby and the sport of horse racing has also made moments of tragedy and controversy. In 2008, a filly, or young female horse, named 8 Bells, died on the racetrack after her second-place finish at the Derby, after sustaining major ankle injuries just after the conclusion or the end of the race. This tragic event overshadowed or made light of the victory by the winning colt, Big Brown. A setting for memorable winners. The greatest horse and jockeys in the United States and the world have run in and often won the Derby, the oldest continuous or longest running event contested at the same site in American sports. The list of winners reads like a hall of fame of racehorses: War Admiral, Whirlaway, Citation, Secretariat, Affirmed, and Smarty Jones. This year, more than a dozen thoroughbreds or purebred horses will leave the starting gate in pursuit of a purse of as much as $2 million and the garland of roses awarded to the winner. And the subject of the race's nickname, the Run for the Roses. Pounding around the Churchill Downs Oval, the thoroughbreds challenge the day's competitors and the memories of past winners for a place in racing history. Number 16. Write an objective summary of the article. Note its central ideas and key details. So an objective summary, you want to retell all the events and some of the major details from this 2-page article. Number 17. This task has one part. Read each carefully and respond. More than one part. Part A. Consider the completed steps that made Churchill Downs a success. Identify and list these steps. So how did the Churchill Downs become a popular place and having lots of people, up to 150,000 people, come in person? Part B. Please do Part B. Analyze how the overall process was successful, explaining which steps and procedures were essential to success. So for this, Part B, make sure you list evidence or quotes from the text. It's going to be very important for answering that question. Good luck, 9th graders.